Okay, you can call the meeting.
Well, meeting order, we'll start with the reading and the approval of the minutes for our June 18th, 2026 meeting. I need a motion to accept those.
I'll make a motion, Eric.
Thank you.
Fred here.
Maggie will second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 On to the finance report.
Maggie has reviewed. I will make a motion to accept the check detail as presented.
Okay, need a second?
I'll make a second,
Second.
Eric.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. And I have reviewed and I'll make a motion to accept the cash flow statements as presented.
Need a second? Second?
Second, Fred.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Okay.
Just quickly, the utility vehicle container have gone to the county. That's all set. I submitted the final reimbursement for the tourism center, and Chippy has paid their second $1 million for the business park development fund. So that's in our parks account now. So we can jump around on the project and pilots. We have Loves represented here today. So if you want to go to number 3. I had emailed the board regarding sharing 10,000 of our reserve capacity. We've had this on reserve at least since 2008 when we did some I&I with the village. Currently, the IDA has 36,000 gallons in reserve, and Loves needs 10,000 for their project. So I have Jack and Jim Edwards from CT Mail here.
Mr. Chairman, sorry if we come up to the table here.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Yeah, you guys can sit. Oh, here, you don't need it.
For purposes of the record, my name is Jack Kelly. I'm the project manager, consultant with Loves and 3D Development. I'm doing a travel center. They aren't truck stops, they're travel centers, and we can get explaining that a little later.
I'm familiar with them. I've stopped that.
Oh, have you? Oh, good. All right. And there really isn't anything from the Tappan Zee Bridge north to Albany, and the national accounts are asking for this. Loves this particular project from an economic development standpoint is $22 million capital investment and 50 to 60 jobs. I usually characterize those jobs as people kind of teeter with the social service area and back, and if you want to go and find out about the jobs and the quality of the jobs in the company, you can go over here to Canaan.
Yep.
And just walk in and ask the person, which I've done several times incognito, do you like your job? And it's amazing the amount of support that they give to this company. The jobs also provide benefits, and they could be a long-term type of employment. Lowe's has taken and said that unless they could get municipal water and sewer to this site, they would not be able to do the project, even though the Keenan site does have a well and a septic system. And there has been discussion, James from your economic development department wanted us to look into a possible package plan. We did discover that the stream there is a continuous stream. There is not enough room on site. We do have a contract with Campers World for about 7 acres on the north end. And so I'm here today. I do have an economic development background, and with me is James Edwards, who is the engineer in charge with the CT Mail project. And Jim and I go back many years. Just for your information, I did the Luther Forest Global Foundries project back a few years ago. So
That's a big project.
yes,
It's
but
probably an easy one.
well, easy compared to some of these here like this. I do hotels and I do these travel centers. But anyways, Jim can take and get into the specifics about the project, but when we first started out, we were told by the three municipalities that are involved, the village, the town of Cooksaki and the town of New Baltimore, that everybody was all on board with this. We put the necessary memorandums of understanding and, the more communities you get involved, the more complex the projects get. But not to dwell on it, but I understand there's been some political changes here locally. And we discovered through one of the engineers with CT Mail that there may be some constraints as it relates to the I&I with the village system, which we could talk about more as we get into this. So Jim, you want to pick up from there, or did I steal your thunder?
Part of it, that's okay. I'll pick up from there. No, you captured it well. Again, Love's is under contract to purchase about 8 acres. It's 7 point something acres. It's on a camping world site, which you're probably aware of that. It's on the north side. The site's really tight as it is. So we had a meeting with DEC yesterday, actually, to talk about an on-site system. It's just going to be really challenging to fit it on that site. We would have to tie into an intermittent stream with really tough treatment parameters that may or may not be able to be met with a package plant. It's also just difficult to find a space for it, because that site as it is has wetlands to the north and access challenges as it is. So if we were to carve out more of that space, that would be really crucial for operations and parking for the on-site system. I'm not sure it would fit. Now, would we get there eventually? Maybe, but it would be a challenge for sure. DC indicated, yeah, we'll work with you, but it's going to be a bumpy road to get there. So obviously the better idea would be to tie into municipal sewer. Would it be easy? No, again, because of just all the logistics involved with putting these all together and extending a district or being an outside user or whatever it's going to take to get there. But in the end, it's a better option for Love's to have municipal public water and sewer, for sure on the sewer side because of the site constraints I mentioned. So we're really hoping we get there, and now we can put the pieces together to allow this to tie into public sewer. It would be via a pumping station and a force main that would connect likely into Hoteling Road. That location, it's about 4,400 feet away. I've spoken to the Thruway Authority and DOT about the more logistics to get the pipe down the road because we're crossing the Thruway. They would only allow a directional drill under the Thruway, not on top of the bridge and carry it over the bridge. They don't like that. So again, that's just some of the many steps involved to get this tied to public sewer, but that is by far the preferred alternative for Love's.
So really your first step is capacity.
Right, so that's your ask today is.
Yes.
So
Yes.
a lot of detail I know I threw at you, but that's the ask is that the estimate right now is 10,000 gallons per day usage on the water side, which obviously connects to the sewer side. So that is the capacity needs that Love's has on the sewer side. Correct.
Yeah. And I think we just had a brief discussion this morning. Maggie, you were on for that, right?
I was.
I mean, and I just get everybody's feedback here on, I mean, my feeling is that, as April said, we've had this capacity for quite a while. This is something in front of us. We still have capacity left. It's not 10,000 out of our, was it 35?
36, yeah.
36 is, I mean, I'm okay with it. I think we got something in front of us. The project could be dead in the water without it. And so I think, do we need a resolution on this or a
We would
vote?
need a
Okay.
resolution
So-
and a contract. I have the original I&I policy from the village, so I'll pull that up and add it as an attachment.
Does anybody else, board members, you have any thoughts on this, or Keith, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think you're making a good point where the fact is we have something in front of us, and these credits have aged out of some time here. I certainly want to do what we can to support the moving this project forward. I know we got some additional challenges that we're going to face with financing of the infrastructure build, which, as you know, I wear two hats on that. But if this is an initial step, I think we should keep it moving along.
So the second part of it is, we did pay money into getting those credits, and I can look back and,
It can just reimburse us for the share of the credits.
okay, so I'll find out, but yeah, Steve emailed me last night that they would pay a fee to obtain it if necessary, so,
Okay.
we can work
Yeah.
that out. But the resolution today would just be that the IDA would,
All right, so you want me to phrase it?
go ahead.
Yeah, just let me ask you a question if I could. April or Eric, did not been in discussion too, like if the village were to open up additional capacity, that's still in play at a future point that we would have access to some of that, or what is that?
We would, but it wouldn't be guaranteed to us.
Well, understood, right? But that potential exists for additional capacity to be had, correct?
They have 3 projects that they're completing, and DEC seems to think there are not really any other projects going forward with that would release more capacity. So by next year, we might see that there is more capacity available. The plant total, I want to say, is 126,000 gallons. They have to, because of a UMH lawsuit, reserve 50,000 of it to new housing over there. Then we have 36,000, and then there's the general use of houses that are already connected. So I don't know what the final calculation of how much is still available, but DEC will be able to hopefully lift the moratorium for next year.
And it sounds like Ecedon, if that goes forward, is not gonna need any of it. which
Right,
is good.
so Ecedon's also on our agenda to talk about later, but we have been going back and forth with, they needed, what was it, like 15,000 gallons, and that building is already connected, so it's not under the same moratorium for new connections. So that's between them and the village.
So, yeah, I mean, if everybody's okay with it, or has no objections, we'll move this resolution forward as soon as Paul gets to
All right.
verbiage ready here, and then that's step one of what we can do for these guys, and then obviously the rest is, tie into the county and the town, but.
All right, I think you should probably have a limit on it of like a year or 2, and then we can renew it. Is that
That's
okay?
available.
Yeah, I mean, is that okay with you guys, or how long do you think you're gonna?
Well, we would probably, the way things are going, it appears that we could get the site plan approval
Right,
by, and we're starting in the ground April 1st, but I'm told by the engineers and the attorneys that in order to do the map plan and report that needs to be done.
for the out of district user.
And get the necessary information, it could go longer than that. I would be willing to accept a 1-year or 2-year sunset to that.
And if we gotta do an extension.
And then if we come back
Just
in
come back in
and
and
keep
we
you
can
going.
discuss an
Yeah.
extension. We just don't want it out there forever. Obviously, I'm sure you guys are
Yeah.
gonna go forward with what you're doing, but
Yeah, well,
sometimes we have people
time is
that are out
money.
there for,
Time is-
a decade later, we're.
Time is money for us on that.
Yes.
If I may also add, there are some grant programs, and the one that I'm thinking of specifically is the Northern Borders Grant Program, for which historically has been those counties up on the northern parts of the Northeast United States. But because of your social economic condition here in Greene County, they have added Greene County to the acceptance list. If you take a look at the projects that they have historically done, Tupper Lake, Saranac Lake, they're water and sewer projects. If you're so willing to allow us to move forward, I am sure I have an excellent grant writer available who has great success on these particular kind of grants to first of all, work with the village, find out quantitatively, et cetera, what their specific problems are. I don't know if a study has been done or what can be done to help add additional capacity.
It would have to be upgraded the plant.
Yeah, we would be happy to work and actually make the grant to get them some money to help achieve some of that stuff.
Well, maybe hopefully us going forward and giving you our stamp of approval with this 10,000 gallons helps the downstream people to.
Yeah,
get
that's
on
kind
board
of, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. Let's focus on what we got to do with. which is
Okay.
good.
If I could just add one thing to please, that the 10,000 gallons per day was an estimate provided to us by Loves in the early stages, of kind of site development. Can we phrase it as approximately 10,000 gallons a day? We need a firm.
I think it's gotta be somewhat firm,
Okay,
you know, I mean, and then you'll have to come back to us because,
yeah,
you know.
that's probably
Because
conservative.
I can't have 10, I can't have it expand to 15 and lose all my capacity.
Mhm.
You know, so I think what the board is voting on is the reallocation for a year period of the 10,000.
Okay.
If you need more, then you'll have to come back to us for more.
Okay, fair. But we haven't fine-tuned all the water usage yet. We haven't, you know, designed, but we're not designing the building, but I'll have someone else doing that. We're doing site work and all the off-site stuff in terms of utilities. So that's what that was given to us when the time comes, when we do the bathroom count and all that stuff, and actual water usage. It'll be probably, 9,346, but I just want to make sure that there's enough there capacity-wise to get this job done.
Or we have 10 of 36. Okay, that's what we got.
So start with your 10, and then if there's a problem, go back to
We'll
us.
see where we go.
We'll sort
As
it
this
out.
develops and evolves, we'll know.
Yeah.
A lot more detail.
Yeah, once you get-
First one to the door is what usually happens here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I guess the resolution that I'm proposing is that we have a resolution approving a reallocation of 10,000 gallons per day of our 36,000 gallons per day IDA reserve capacity for the village system to the Loves project, subject to a 1-year sunset, which reallocation is subject to all applicable laws and permits, including the village's speedies permit, and would be subject to the reimbursement by the company of the IDA, a proportion reimbursement of the IDA's fee that it paid for the such capacity.
Okay, I'll make that resolution. I need a second.
Maggie will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
April, shall I reserve to come back again sometime in the future to talk about the other issues that are before you?
Well, are those
So
ideal
let me,
issues?
yeah, their lawyer's been calling me. I don't know really what I can say to him. I told him exactly what it is. I think there is some conceptual buy-in of a reallocation of the sales tax. How that is done and how we do it, that's gonna be for us to phrase it, would be subject to the approval of the legislature. I don't know if you have enough of a pilot that would provide enough of the money, so we have to kind of see what it is. But I think the first issue I've been asking is the legality of a TIF transaction for the financing. So there is some appetite to entertain it, but I don't think we're at the point yet that we should be talking about it.
Well,
to this board.
my understanding, I've done considerable industrial development agency work from Clinton County, Essex down through, and the one that we did with Loves was out at Chautauqua County. And I did provide some information. They did a PIF. My understanding in New York State Constitution prevents PIFs from occurring, but PIFs, pilot incremental tax financing, is a workable thing. That's getting down to the words. I think that there is something that we can go forth with this of not having to take and do that, but to do it using a standard. I usually like the 403B formula, 50% reduction the first year, then 45, etc.
Then you would take the reduced money and use that to pay the bonds?
Yeah, or what we would do in this case is that Lowe's would, first of all, they will self-finance the whole works.
Yeah.
But the portion that needs to be paid back over a 10-year time period would be, they would float their own mortgage.
Right.
They would buy their mortgage back. And then,
I think we're getting way beyond where we should be, so why don't you give me your
but I would
start?
like,
Why don't
okay,
you give me
well,
your thought, and
Zoom
then-
call, only because I have 10 more minutes for the other resolution before.
and I have no problem come down and sit and talk about
Just
those.
give me your card, I'll give you my stuff, if you can give me the information, that would be great.
All right,
Really, the mechanics of it, I don't think it's really setting up the proper mechanisms.
and we can couch it as under a destination project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you guys
Thanks,
coming.
Paul.
And I
Yeah,
appreciate that you're an attorney.
I am, that's not a chance, so they have a program.
Thank you, appreciate
And
it.
April knows how to get in touch with
We
you.
will.
Thanks, April.
Thank you.
All right.
Yep, I will set up a Zoom call for that portion of the
Okay.
questions.
You guys are welcome to stay for the exciting other stuff we do, or if you're bored today, you can. Okay, maybe someone.
And April, this is what you and I
Appreciate you pumping this around.
Yeah, no problem.
separately before you do the city hall, okay?
Okay,
I put it on the calendar.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for coming in.
That's the chippy invoice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't mean to cut you off at the resolution, but I think, yeah, all right,
Yeah.
all right.
So
Okay.
let's just skip down to the hotel,
Okay.
under parks update, Gateway Green. Paul has a
Yeah.
resolution for the hotel.
As a follow-up to the meeting, last month, which, you approved certain provisions in the minutes, where we approved the execution and delivery of an access agreement, for the development of the hotel. I presented, today a resolution which approves two things. It formally approves the access agreement, which is attached, and it also approves an amendment to the contract. When we, took the voice vote last month, we didn't have the final forms of the agreements. Attached to the resolution is the final form of the agreements. And in particular, in the resolution, I write, a modification to the conditions are in section 2. So I just changed that around, and I kept the red lines in there specifically for that. So there'll be an additional non-refundable deposit of $100,000. The closing on the land would be on or before October 30th. The work is limited to doing site work, and he's got a list us as an additional insured. They will cause any release of mechanics lien since we own the property. We will own the property until October 31. So then I have in my escrow account, I think 100,000, we'll have another 100,000 of that. So that is what, so if you look at section 2 of the resolution, I'm just changing what was approved in June, and I'm redlining those changes for the board. There would be no performance bond, as we've agreed to waive that. So in terms of the financing, the purchase price in the first amendment, the land area increased initially from the, what we thought was gonna be the land size of 2.6 acres to 3.0886 acres. And as a result, the purchase price increased by about $280,000. So in this agreement, in the first amendment, we're approving the first amendment, which increases the purchase. So at the closing in October, he would pay the original purchase price of $1,465,000. He would sign a note which would be guaranteed by all the members for $278,590. And then that note would be due and payable on or before March 31, 2027, or the earlier of the closing on the straight lease financing. So remember, we approved a long-term pilot, sales tax, and mortgage tax. So I put in all of the provisions. The note rate would carry at 450, which is above the AFR rates that I provided the board. So that's what we're approving in there. So we're approving in essence the access agreement and the First Amendment. I told him I would not go forward without the documents being fully signed. The fully signed versions are attached to the resolution. They were sent by. The only difference was that Exhibit B to the access agreement, I typed out the listing of the plans and specifications, which were provided late in the day, but that's in the final version. So if anyone has any questions for this, remember, this project has been approved already. We've approved our statement of financing. We have gotten the legislature's approval as for the pilot. So it's just a question of closing out the real estate. That's the documents commitment for financing. So I expect it would be going forward. And so I would offer the resolution in the form of text with the modification that Dan, Brian, and Donna are absent. Other than that,
Okay, so we just need to, I'll move that resolution. I need a second.
Just a quick question, Paul.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it our understanding that it is going to take them to approximately October 30th just to do the site work that we're permitting?
They want to get early on. I think the site work will probably take a little bit more, but the site's pretty decent shape. This gate, the road is done. So what they're doing, the delay from now till October 31 is to accommodate what's called a 1031 exchange, where
Yep.
they're
I'm
selling,
familiar.
using it as a replacement property. So they were trying to fit that in for them. So that's.
Yeah, what really my question is getting to is that will the site work take us all the way through October, or are they going to be coming back to us in September and saying, "Hey, we're done with our site work. We want to move into foundation work"?
The way the access agreement is drafted is that it's limited to site work. Okay? And
Okay, and they think that time frame works for them, October?
that's what they gave me. And that's
Okay.
really the date for the closing on the purchase of the land, where we get the 1,465,000, and then we have to pay the county back their share of that money. So
Okay.
I think it works for them, but I put in a provision that said it's time of the essence for that closing date. So they have to close on that date or they lose the 200,000.
All right. Consequence.
Yeah, I think, look, if you got $200,000 down, that's a pretty substantial deposit, and they've got all the money spent on the approvals. I think they want to move forward with it. I think it's just a question of accommodating, having the cash from the exchange and going forward with that.
Yeah, I know the 1031's all about timing, so I appreciate that.
Yep. Any other questions or for me or?
Any other questions? We'll move that. I made a resolution. I need a second.
Maggie will second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
While we have Fred, I have one more resolution regarding the walking trails for the Green Land Trust. We've hired EDR, and they are going to be putting in a consolidated funding application for us. It's a matching grant, so I would like board approval to use up to $50,000 from our pilot account to match the work that's being done. So there's 3 phases. Phase 1 is applying for the application of the funding. Phase 2 is the actual planning, getting permits, wetland look at, how much does the bridge cost to go over the Coxsackie Creek, seeing if it's feasible, and then scaling the project to whatever the Green Land Trust can fundraise or come up with for phase 3, and that's the actual development. So this resolution would be to cover the goals of the grant and to expand the walking trails from the Anderson parcel, which is 317 Mansion Street, all the way up to where it exists in Kalkberg, and making that ADA compliant. So if somebody with a wheelchair or limited access, they could actually come in and to where the first loop is. And then there would be a phase 4 if we wanted to look at extending it to our Warren parcel. But the resolution today is asking the IDA board to support Coxsackie Creek Grassland Preserve Trail Expansion Project and provide up to $50,000 in financial assistance. So I would just need a motion.
Motion. Does anybody have any questions on that or any?
I'm good. I can make the motion.
Yeah, okay. I need a second.
Maggie will second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, so I will start back at the top here. So
April, I gotta drop. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Fred.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye,
Fred.
guys. Bye, guys.
So we already went over Essedon a little bit. They're basically an existing hookup. So we don't have to share capacity. I will keep you updated on the progress. I'm not exactly sure the company that's interested in it was a baby formula or something that uses high water. But the first ask was just about capacity. Now that they have capacity, we'll see if they come back to us about.
And it sounds like they do.
Yeah.
It sounds like they do. I think they like the building.
Yep.
It's built and ready to go, so I think that's probably a big bonus for them.
So I will keep you updated if they return to us with application. The housing RFI was sent to the board, an evaluation policy. We can table this till next week. I know Donna had some input, which I didn't receive yet. But if anybody had anything else, or had a group that they would like me to send the RFI to, please let me know. And we can vote on any updates for next month, I guess.
The only thing on that, we can discuss this more, was I would recommend, and maybe Donna can help with this, that we have the RFI, but we start with like a letter of inquiry or of interest first, because I know from my personal work, I get loads of emails of stuff of like projects bidding and all that, and they're all generic and most of them go right into the delete thing.
Yep.
When I get something specific, one page very directed to me, I usually take a closer look. And I'm just thinking about like a letter of inquiry or interest directed at a certain group of people, that almost like an engagement letter. If you're interested in this, we can send you an RFI or whatever, but
Okay, okay.
I think we
understand.
need to do a brainstorm
I,
that.
and I'll send you a couple of comments I had on the RFI itself. They weren't substantive, but I think to your point, Eric, I mean, as I read it, what I think Donna can help with, or you might want to talk to some of your other IDA colleagues, to find out, like when I say developers, because we're not really looking for just developers, right? We're looking for sort of a niche developer who invests in, and invests in like apartment buildings, or, the sort of thing. There's, I'm sure, some lists, if you will.
That's right. There's probably a list. There's not 100 of them. There's probably
Right.
5 or 10 in the area, capital district area. And what we want to do is somehow make contact with them directly, either via phone call or direct letter, or
Right.
phone call that says, who should we address this to, send it to them, and then.
Yep, so I have been hearing, like Donna has somebody, and James has a developer that wants to work with us. So instead of excluding people, I thought having the RFI out there, we would at least get, it wouldn't just be like, I'm just working with that sole developer. It would be, we've opened it up, we've gotten information, and these are the people that we're picking to work with.
Right.
So I can look for that later.
Yeah, I mean, our problem, now we're gonna have 100 people, is that if the whole thing's gonna get ignored. Versus if we can somehow pique their interest initially.
Mhm.
Yeah, send me over what you got and we'll have a discussion.
Okay.
But I think that first step before
Before I
we
send
get
out
the
the RFI.
5-page thing or whatever, that is, to
Because we
avoid.
keep up to the same core issue, right? A developer has a template of math where something works or something doesn't work, right? And once they have the details on the parcel and the sorts of things, they may be able to just put it in their tool. And I can, the developer, frankly, that we have worked with as an enterprise, through the low income tax credit, is also developing something in Hudson. We worked with them on projects in 5 different parts of New York, including Schenectady, a recently concluded project in Schenectady. So, as you said, there's the minute I saw in the RFI that you were looking for, at least for people who had leveraged the low income tax credits, and that process, that's another part of the niche, right? So I'll see if I can find some folks as well, just to send you names. But you're right, it's an invitation, because they'll be able to determine, right, what scale works for their model, right, as opposed to just doing a blanket send.
I think that first page has to be just some bullet points of what we have, what we're seeking.
Okay.
And, we're looking to, I don't know if the word partner is correct, but with a developer. On a 10-acre parcel, blah, 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 and,
Okay.
offering aggressive incentives to.
I can narrow it down further.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought I did a good job, taking down like the proposal, the, hotel proposal down to an RFI for housing.
Yep.
From, 30
Right.
pages down to 3.
That's, and I think that is a secondary one to avert this basically like an invitation
Okay, I can do that.
for a discussion, and then that can come second.
Okay,
But I think that's what we're.
Yeah, there's,
I'll tell you
there's
that.
a bunch of people, I think it's gonna go to a tax credit person, a
Mhm.
tax credit developer rather than a primary for profit, so. I
definitely.
mean, the guy, who did the one here, I forget his name.
Well, we had a meeting with, John Joseph and a gentleman for a nonprofit, so I know they're out there, but I'll get a list.
Yeah, I can give you a bunch of names and,
Okay.
yeah, we had the one guy who did, West Texas, Kent County.
Yeah.
Bruce Levine has done a bunch over in Tucson.
Mhm.
Larry Reagan's done a bunch in Albany.
Yeah.
Those are the type of people I think you're looking for.
Mhm.
And then I would send it to this law firm called Cannon, Hayman and Weiss. They have they represent, seem to be most of the tax credit investors. I can give you the guy to talk to over there.
Okay.
All right.
Bruce, what was-
Bruce Levine, I can send his 4 or something.
Okay. I can definitely do that. Okay, then we moved on from Love's, Cooksaki Comprehensive Plan, we're still working on. The website is live if you want to review anything. We're gonna have to table, New Baltimore Comprehensive Plan. They were getting a quote, and a scope for me, but I haven't seen it yet. But they did mention, a request for assistance and partnership. Um,
Now I gotta ask you, but so their comprehensive plan is probably not that old.
it's, I wanna say 10 years old.
Yeah, and I guess from, the first thing I would say is, what do they feel they need to address?
That's why I'm waiting for the scope.
Okay, because it's not that old and not much has happened up there, is what I'm saying. Okay, so,
Maybe that's why.
but I don't know if there's anything prohibited, because when they first did it and did some zoning changes, there were some problems with their zoning changes, and it was really just more of an overcomplication. They went back and they simplified it. And I don't think it's too bad right now, I guess is what I'm saying, is that I don't know.
You don't hear people complaining.
No, and I don't think there's anything been prohibited from, so.
I just wanna put it out there.
Yeah,
Other,
I just,
I think Maggie had asked me to look at, I know Greenville's doing one as well, but it's
Mhm.
same things, very small,
Yeah.
Changes, so
Yeah, I would
not
just
like overhauling it.
envision some
But
edits at best.
Yeah. If we can partner,
Yeah,
I will let you know.
yeah, I was just wondering if they had identified anything that was what they felt was a problem or that needed to be addressed. Betting there's not. Okay.
Okay, the next one is Hannah Croy Solar Facility. I have the draft finding statement almost completed. I was waiting on one more number from, Hannah Croy Solar Facility developer, Technos. And I have to maybe defer to Paul on this. So they would like the sales tax exemption, but only for local 4%, because they're already exempt from state. If
If they're
everything
different,
like that.
yeah, it's fine. It's
Okay.
easy.
So I'm trying to get the numbers. I ran the numbers through the new tool, the MRB tool that we developed. There's no jobs really for solar. There's like maybe one job for the year, so it's gonna be based on other-
Construction, and there'll be a few,
Right.
but they're very
40
short term.
construction jobs and things like that. So when you see the cost benefit analysis, it will come down to the fact that they wanna pay the 40,000 a year in pilot, where they could be tax exempt from a property for being New York State Power Authorities exempt, so that would be the.
And that's probably in excess of what their property's generating right now.
True, right now they're generating 6,900.
Yeah,
So I have to get the number from Ray saying what they would pay in full if it was based on.
Yeah.
Well, they get the special exemption anyway, so it's,
Just gonna cover my
Okay.
basis in the finding statement. So that I'm working on, as well as, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't know if you guys read the article. It was very interesting to me, that the utilities in New York are partnering, is an odd word, with the power authority on siting solar all around the state. Now, Central Hudson wasn't mentioned in this, but it was the power authority angle on this that caught my eye, of course, because they are the power authority and this little project. But I given given a variety of the things around solar generally, I was just, so it is capacity that will be owned by the utilities. Right, and as opposed to like going into the grid and all the other models, I, I meant to flag it, I'll send it just because I'm like, oh boy, if they start finding parcels all over, that they own, where the power authority kind of comes in as the lead, it just was it was a shift in the business model of solar that really, caught my eye.
The public hearing hasn't been set yet because I can't get a date from the town. And I tried to call the firehouse to rent from them and all three mailboxes are full. So
Okay.
the public hearing has to be set in New Baltimore, so I will find a location. It's a 30-day notice.
Can you do it at the town hall?
That's where we've
Been
always done.
trying to get it at the town hall, but I said I'll have it like half an hour before one of their already planned meetings, but they have not given me a date yet.
Okay.
So I'm working on that.
Okay.
But I feel, like we have to look at the finding statement, the cost benefit analysis and approve everything and then go to the public hearing. So we have those minutes for the board. But I will keep the board updated on that. Bailey Street parcel, Paul's been working diligently, to focus on it. Ed Ross is closing on some $46 million deal this week. He emailed or he texted me last night. So, he will have the check and come in and sign, and his attorney is sending him everything right now.
Is it coming in now or because I can
Not
get
today, but let's see.
Was his attorney involved?
Scott Jello, it's a good guy, but it's like, come on, it's
Um,
not difficult. So I got the documents for you to sign, so.
he's going to review everything and, then Ed will transfer money to escrow to do the closing.
He's gotta sign the documents, so
Okay.
just tell him he's gotta sign the documents.
Okay, I will let him know.
So, yeah, all right,
Ed to sign documents.
I'll send them to you again, so. you
Okay.
can sign them.
And that'll close on the Bailey Street parcel. Otter Rock is the former Astoria Motor Lodge. This is actually the third owner, probably in the last 5 or 6 years. Maggie had asked me earlier, yes, this was the grant. There was a $750,000 grant from the state, but it was pulled back when the other owners went defunct. So for this owner, it would have to reapply through the CFA grants. It ends July 31st for this year. They're working on their financing right now. I've put them in touch with local banks. I did get to see some of the plans for the property. The current cabins have been kind of sitting exposed a little too long, so it's cheaper to just use the foundations and put new little houses there. But he seems to have a lot of community plans, preserving fruit that grows locally and having a little farm stand and different local plans. I've already put him in touch with Ed Curtin to do a phase 3 on part of their parcel also. And they most likely will submit an application, but that'll be a couple months down the road. Okay, 317 Mansion is what we call the Anderson parcel. I've been cleaning up, so whenever they plow, they push all this gravel onto our lot, so I'm getting that raked out. The property is mowed, and we have tagged it, that don't go past the Greene Land Trust for trespassing. I'm also gonna mark off the area where we might have a lease set for Tom's Diggity Dogs. That wouldn't be until September though, so I'm finishing cleaning up and then I'll have Paul review the lease language that I have. But it would be a couple days a week and then maybe storing over the winter or being there for soups over the winter. The other part of the 317 mansion is that discussion with, the bridge and walking trails. So now that I have it mowed down, we can walk in further and see where we could link up to the existing trails, with the Green Land Trust. Any questions on Mansion Street? It's a small parcel and, I will be meeting with, the village as well. So we'll turn it over to them once we have that planned out. We already made the resolution for the walking trails. And the last item is the Warren parcel. So, in your packet, I did send some maps, to discuss. Well, they're kind of black and white, but, an idea for the front portion of our 100 acres. It's up near Van Gurken. So if you know where the Cooksaki Antique Shop is, it's like right next door to that. You drive in, so where it says John Williams. I've been in talks with, the local Animal Alliance. They're trying to build an animal shelter. I presented maybe 5 acres on the front of this flat area next to the billboards. And then I also talked to Mark Evans about a helipad there, because it's right off of, the interstate. He would need about an acre minimum. The Animal Alliance is looking to purchase 5 acres. They've raised 75,000. This land is less than that in the appraisal. And then subdividing where the billboards are to rent those to the county. So this is the first kind of draft presentation to the board, but I will table it till we have a full board to discuss it. Plus the fact now, the Animal Alliance is really looking at Caro or Catskill to be more centralized. And the only other acreage that the IDA owns is, the 60 acres across from Camptown, which I'm not sure, if our pro forma, it would match up. 75,000 per acre or per 5 acres, is probably well below what we've spent on certain areas. But if we can put it at a different level, so 60 acres, the topography goes down to that flat 13 acres, that's the prime area to settle, and then it goes back up the hill. So if we could subdivide 5 acres up on top of the hill and flatten it up there, that might be a possibility that I have to look at.
And that's a ways in, isn't it? That, yeah.
Yeah, so if you look at where Camptown is, across the street is the garage that they're working on.
Yeah.
That's gonna open soon. And then up behind that, I'm thinking might be a spot for them, but that area where the houses were, that's prime retail.
As far as that organization goes, how well are they funded, or do you know where they're?
So right now, if they have to get, ownership of a parcel to be able to apply for other grants. But, the gentleman I've been speaking to, Mark Orlick, seems to think that they are well lined up for those grants. It's just without a lease or a ownership of land, they can't apply for them yet. So I'm still thinking the Warren parcel is the best for us to partner with them. I can look at a topography map and see if it could even work out. But also James at the county is telling me that there's a developer, a housing developer that is interested in the 60 acres. I have not met with them yet. I haven't been introduced yet.
Cause I mean, these guys, whatever size building they're looking to build, I mean, just putting a road into the building is a significant cost, let alone a facility. When it's got a ways to go like that, you know?
Sure. So I'll present that to them and let them know.
Yeah.
I also did reach out to people I know in Caro that do own property there. And seeing if they're interested in partnering with the animal shelter.
Mhm.
So it's a side thing now. It's not
Yeah.
a main focus for the IDA, but it'd be nice to partner with, groups that if we could. It's all about the quality of life.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah, that's.
really thought it was gonna take longer to get through, so I'm so happy that we were able to go over all the topics today. And I'll send more information out to the entire board.
For an hour.
Yeah,
I was just kind of putting it there, just let's,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can talk about that,
those are details that'll
he
take a
was
little while.
getting into the details, and
Yeah.
it's not fair to
For
the.
two.
Yeah.
but I will set up that meeting with Loves for the next step.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess technically we've cleared a hurdle for them that if they didn't get past that, they're dead in the water, so
Exactly.
if they got the next step, they can.
And then if you want, to review the, res, or if you want me to
Have
type
your
it,
notes?
I'll just type it out.
Okay,
So
thanks.
if That's okay.
It is
I think it's a
okay.
little more efficient that way.
It is
for both of
efficient
them.
that way.
Because then, I had the resolution, so I could put it in, this
Okay.
one I couldn't.
But we can do a motion to adjourn.
Yes,
Okay, so I'll make a motion to adjourn, any second?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay.
All right.
All right,
Okay.
thank you, everybody.
thank you.
All right. Have a great day.
Okay, you too.
Okay, man, have fun, watch out for all the pot smokers.
Oh, she left that one.
I was surprised, I went to Boston,